Straight to company this afternoon. First in the news, the communal clashes in the Savannah region continue to intensify, with the official death toll in the Gbinyiri land dispute hitting 17. That's according to the Sultan Kalba District Security Council. Many residents are still seeking shelter in farmlands and temporary shelters. This has occasioned a wave of calls for feuding factions to lay down their arms and use dialogue to resolve their differences. Some displaced persons say they continue to sleep in open air until the conflict ends.
One more for no yabre. And one say, oh, Bami be or call for so best here and oh, who's an obano, Kumana. I had it. Intia Bamboy and Patato on a yade. And my ye new fee, Jana, ye near one, then I bet me, I say, Bia, may call Yesuro Kurampo, Bio, our Dawudam, now to me in there. Now, one fee. The one more and Patapa, I talk on my na angel.
I pese a coffee. Ntokwana na pese a coffee. Ni fi. E wo de se bibia ni ha. Mo ma ba bi ma ya da. O mo sa ma ya ni se bibia ni ha. Nya tokwana na e kase a coffee ma. Se e ya da de na e den ho ye ma na obi ada wo. Ni to da wo man kwala ma ni da bonke. Omo man kitwa so. Bo su ne go mo so no kwa be se na ya fufu san da ba. Ti sira mo na mo nya da nduma ni mani me. Se ba ni ne betima da dem. Asana I want to buy in Yakufi.
Mobile Halina, a suato.
A suato.
Now, suit to Sadiano may.
Now, what for a suit in my done here? Suito, yes, Ramala. The Maya said to
Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Tamale Central, is calling on the feuding factions to exercise restraint and cooperate with the security agencies. And my colleague Blessed Soga joins me via Zoom with details of the statements issued by the Speaker on a Facebook page a few hours ago. Blessed, the Speaker of Parliament says he's deeply worried with events happening in the district. Give us some more details.
Emma, so I'm just reading excerpts of that statement from the Speaker. It says that to my fellow citizens of Sola, Tuna, Kalba district, in the light of the ongoing conflict, I urge everyone to remain calm and composed. The reports of gunfire and displacements are deeply concerning for all parties involved and the nation as a whole. Without doubt, STK district has always been revered for its harmony and peaceful nature, and it is crucial that we preserve this reputation. I applaud the youth groups who took the initiative to issue statements promoting calm and cautioning against the inflammatory rhetoric. As said in their respective press releases, unity, constructive dialogue, and peaceful coexistence should be the main goal. Let us prioritize peace and stability, ensuring that the constituency remains a haven for its residents. Let us exercise restraint and cooperate with the security agencies. I also encourage traditional leaders and all well-meaning community influencers to collaborate genuinely to resolve this conflict and restore tranquility.
Thank you so much, Blessed. Blessed bringing us details from the statement that the Speaker of Parliament posted on his Facebook page. Let's now take you on ground where my colleague Isaac Nonya is on standby. Isaac, what's the current situation regarding the conflict in the region?
The current situation is such a way that residents who don't have faith in what is happening are still running away. About 200 were brought to the camp yesterday, and others who were already there are leaving the camp towards Upper West and then down south.
Do you have any update on why they are leaving? Is it that they don't feel safe in that camp as well?
Yes, some of them say that they don't know when the conflict will end, and if they stay here, they don't know when they will also get back to their homes. So it's better to relocate outside the region where they know they will be safe. And more to the point, they don't even know where they're going. They want to get outside the region, depending on when they will know that they will be called to come to the town.
Okay, Isaac, we understand that there is relief for dozens of displaced persons who have been without adequate food and shelter.
Today, 2 trucks from Accra just delivered some relief items to the regional NADMO officers. Many of them are tents, baskets, and that of tents to enable the people to use and move in, because what they already had from the Ghana Red Cross 11 and the rest don't have stakes to stand on. So you still have many of them lying outside the tent. But what NADMO brought today, I think it will serve the purpose of those who are still there, because the majority even left the camp, apart from those who came yesterday.
Right. Thank you, Isaac, for bringing us update. But we can now hear from the NADMO director.
And I think since yesterday, we have been waiting for our truck from the NADMO headquarters. Thank God this morning they are here. They should have been here since yesterday, but because of the bad nature of our roads, they couldn't get here early. And so this morning they are here, and we are offloading the items that are in dire need. I think you have been at the camp and you've seen the situation over there. No cups, no buckets, nothing for them to use to be able to bath, eat from, drink from, and all that. This morning we are here with a lot of plastic items. Rubber buckets are here. We have the drinking cups. We have blankets. As of yesterday, it was very bad because many of the people were feeling cold, yet there was nothing for them to use. So we thank God that these blankets are also here. We have tents, over 150 tent shelters for the people, and I think this is good news for our people. Yes, we are going to erect them today to make sure that the people get enough shelters. Though Red Cross has supported us with some shelters, NADMO has brought over 150 shelters for us to be able to house the people who have been displaced. Just yesterday night, we had another team of displaced persons coming from the Bole district. Over 250 people were brought in from Bole district around the Chanchere area. It's unfortunate and it was very pathetic. Right now, we need support to be able to take care of these numbers that are coming in.
Meanwhile, DCE for Saula Kalbatuna Saka Sekina says 8 displaced persons fleeing the conflicts have drowned.
About 8 people were drawn. You know, if you look at the Bole, Bamboy, and Solatona Kalba, we share boundary with the Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso to the western part of our district. And these inhabitants, some are more or less related to people in Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire. So as a result of the conflict, most of them are migrating to Côte d'Ivoire. And they pass a lot of unapproved routes with some locally manufactured boats, or what they call the canoes. It was one of those incidents that some 2 families were trying to cross and they drowned. No rescues have been made. I'm told 8 people were on board the boat and they've all drowned.
And how about those who were killed?
Yes, those who were killed have been sent to a hospital at Kapinka. That is the southern part of Bole Bamboy district.
And how many are they?
I was told by the Bole MC there are 6.
So this brings the official death toll to 16, correct?
I believe more than 16. In my district here, Solatuna Kalba, we had 5 first, 2, that makes it 7, 3 from Bole, Bamboy, and now 11, roughly about 17. About 17 is my figure, official 17.
Away from the conflict, the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Shrimsai, has disclosed that the trial of former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Adu Boahen is ongoing. Adu-Boahene, his wife, and 2 others are facing charges over the alleged misappropriation of 49.1 million Ghana cedis earmarked for a cybersecurity defense software project. The Deputy AG has provided updates on when the prosecution will resume, while dismissing claims that key evidence in the case has gone missing. We'll bring you details shortly, but first, here is a look at how the case has unfolded so far.
Around 9 p.m. on March 21st, the suspect was stopped.
The former National Signal Bureau boss, Kwabena Adu-Boahen, his wife Mildred Donko, and 2 other accused persons were arrested on allegations of misappropriating some 49 million Ghana cedis of state fund meant for the procurement of a security software. The arrest and remand led to a legal tussle between him and the state when he sued the AG for defamation and a 200 million CD bill condition, which he described as excessive. But even before he could be officially charged, Adu-Boahen believes in his innocence.
You believe you come out from this as an innocent man?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
The AG later charged him on multiple counts of theft, money laundering, defrauding by false pretense, abuse of public office, among others. The prosecution also alleged that the funds were diverted to purchase luxury vehicles and properties in Accra, Kumasi, and London. The trial process took a few dramatic turns when a leaked memo from Adu Boahen to the National Security Coordinator revealed that he would not hesitate to release national security document in self-defense if the state's action continue to humiliate him, his wife, and children. On July 18, the third accused person also told the judge in open court that she no longer needs the services of counsel Atta Akyea. But in the face of all this, the Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, believes he will secure conviction.
I will not take anybody to court unless I am convinced that there is evidence to prove the guilt of the person beyond reasonable doubt.
So that's how the case has unfolded so far. But my colleague James Aveji joins us via Zoom with details of the Deputy AG's statement. Now, James, let's start with his refusal of claims that an important document in the trial has gone missing.
Well, MFA, so the Deputy AG Justice Remsai, in a post on his X account, said the Attorney General's office has not lost any evidence regarding the ongoing Republic versus Adu-Boahene criminal trial. He goes on to list the various documents they have filed on the matter as of June 18, 2025, which includes evidence of contract for sale, bank wire transfer records, bank account statement, company registration document, property ownership records, and purchase receipts. It also included Interpol stolen vehicle records, investigative caution statement, and charge statement of each of the other accused persons, and also records of assets that Mr. Adu Boahen, according to the AG, had failed to declare, and a flow chart of money movements through what he describes as a complex web of bank accounts, and testimonies of the other three witnesses in the case. And that all of these documents have also been served on all the accused persons. And so it is not true that any of the documents as related to the case had got missing.
That's good to know. And the case will resume when?
He said before the legal vacation on July 31, the first three witnesses had been cross-examined by lawyers of three of the accused. And so, which means that the lawyer for the last accused person is yet to do that cross-examination. But he is hopeful that they will return to continue when the legal vacation is over, somewhere by the middle of October 2025. MFA.
Thank you so much, James Aveji. Now, lawyer for Adu Boahen, Atta Akyea, has joined us for some clarification. Thank you for joining us on the news today. Now, first, confirm to us, has your client been served with all these documents the AG has listed from the beginning of the trial before the legal break?
Yes. The AG has been selective in furnishing us with the documents it wants to file. In fact, we brought it to the attention of the judge that in a very consequential bank account, they've decided not to include the full volume of the bank account. So we have challenged the fact that what is exculpatory of Adu Boahen and the wife, the AG should give it to us. And that's how come in the first instance, the judge didn't want to order that exculpatory evidence, which simply means the evidence that will aid the accused persons to conduct their case. It should be given to them. The judge said no. But when we came back with another application for disclosures in relation to the so-called private B&C account and the purchase of property in Kumasi and another one in London. So that was the positive allegation of the Attorney General signed and filed before the court. Now, monies were taken from an account, and a property in London was, purchased. So, given when this purchase took place, let us have who owned the property, the vendor, when was it sold, and for how much. They couldn't give it.
Are you entitled to these documents or information? And what do you think the AG is seeking to achieve with these, not providing you with everything you need?
Yeah, because of the poverty of the case that they are trying to prosecute. Because if you ask whether we are entitled, that is what the law says. It's a constitutional requirement. Article 19, fair trial. The fair trial requirement is that you shouldn't withhold information which should aid the innocence of the accused person.
Right.
Because the Attorney General is not a persecutor. An Attorney General is supposed to hold the scales of justice even. And when the evidence should inure to the benefit of the accused persons, the Attorney General is bound by law to divulge it to the court. And in fact, it is unprofessional for an Attorney General to withhold exculpatory evidence from the court.
I am quite curious to know, do you have any idea what exact document is alleged to have gone missing in this case?
Oh, in the first instance, the Attorney General withheld, about 83 pages of a bank statement that the Attorney General has filed before the court. So you could see a deficit of evidence by what the Attorney General filed before the court. So we call for the difference. Now, where is the rest of the pages relating to the bank statement you filed? And the judge blocked it. The judge didn't want them to bring it. This is where we are. As a fact, these are all facts if you have journalists following this story. And that's why we've appealed the decision of the judge, that the judge should not block evidence that the accused persons require to prepare their defense, and even use those pieces of evidence to cross-examine the witnesses who are being called.
In very simple understanding, have you seen the statement by the AG on Deputy AG on his Facebook page? What do you make of the entire statement?
It's unfortunate, it doesn't aid justice, and it doesn't speak well of due process. For example, there is the latest importation of some evidence that, Adu Boahen is in the international stolen vehicle enterprise. It's all bogus and unfortunate. It's a very vile propaganda which did not connect with the original case against him. And now it's come out that rather Adu Boahen has been a victim of international fraud. Somebody has sold a vehicle to him, which is a stolen vehicle. And meanwhile, a duty was paid inland, Kutuka International Airport, by Adu Boahen. So we've asked for the return of the duty. And the one who sold the vehicle to Adu Boahen, we sued him in court, and we've surrendered the vehicle to Interpol.
Okay.
Now, the question that people are asking that, do you think under the mandate of Yoko, it should veer into matters which are of the CID Interpol? Now, Yoko is abandoning its remit and going into matters of stolen vehicles. Go and look at the remit of Yoko. There should be crimes against the state. Essentially so, the Supreme Court has pronounced upon it. And when Yoko wants to veer into private undertakings, then they are usurping the powers of the CID. It's unfortunate.
Thank you so much, Lawyer Atta Akyea, for joining us today on the news and providing some clarity. Now, away from that, the NPP is pushing back against fresh polls by Global Info Analytics that place the NDC ahead in the Akwatia by-election. The governing party insists the findings are misleading, arguing that grassroots support remains firmly behind their candidate, Bernard Boedu. This comes amid suggesting that demands for development are reshaping voter sentiment and that sympathy votes alone may not decide the outcome. We'll hear from the NPP shortly, but first, let's help understand or unpack the survey, what they mean by Akwatia and beyond. We're joined by Dr. Eugene Kumi-Ahen, Senior Research Analyst at Global Info Analytics. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on the news. Now first, your poll shows a very tight race in Akwatia between the NPP Solomon Asumedu, who they popularly call Owo, and the NDC's Bernard Boedu. From your analysis, what factors are making this by-election so competitive?
And good afternoon once again to your listeners. The Akwatia by-election, I went there with my crew on the 27th. We were able to move through all the 21 constituencies to the 28th of August. That was yesterday. From the demographics, what we were able to capture was, if everything goes right, Asumedu, who is the MPP candidate, versus the Bedu, who is the NDC candidate, we have what we call the likely voters model. The likely voters model, we are putting all those involved in the sample size into consideration. If that is what happens, it means Asumedu is going to be down by 42%, and Bernard Bedu is going to have 47%, telling us that Bernard, who is the NDC candidate, is going to win the election at the end of the day. Now, when we come to what we call the committed voters model, that is those who are the diehard going to vote. Those, whether rain or shine, they are saying they are going to vote for both the MPP and the NDC. They are telling us that Bernard B. Bedu is going to have 53% of the total votes, and Solomon K. Asumedu is going to have 47%. Now, we looked at certain things, that is what we call the dynamics, which tells us who is going to win at the end of the day. If we look at Asumedu and Bedu, we can see that people are more interested in the Bedu guy than the Asumedu. One reason is because of development.
Okay.
What they were saying was they can see that the government in power is the NDC. So if they vote for Asumedu, who is the MPP guy, they are still going to lack development. But in case they go for Bedu, I think his father is the head of the nation. So when he goes for development, automatically it will be delivered. So what the people of Akwatia are telling us is that they are going to look at development to vote.
Are these
not any other thing.
Is this the same sample space or sample size that says that the country is headed in the wrong direction?
Yes, they are saying that the country's direction is not good though, but they are going to look at the man in power to vote for his MP, because they are seeing that they've done that mistake for long. They always vote for whoever is in power. The MP that will come will not be the person to support him.
Okay.
So developmental project has been something of, they lack development in Akwatia. So now they are going to go strictly by, this is my man, and this is the one he's supposed to work with.
Regardless of the country headed in the wrong direction, because then it will be the man, the person who is the head that's leading the country, is not.
Exactly. So they want to look at developmental issues with respect to, if they vote for Asumedu, who is an MPP candidate, he cannot go for the fair share of the development for the Akwatia constituency.
Okay.
But assuming they vote for the Bedu guy, who is also a lineage of the NDC, they think when he calls or when he talks, the president will listen and give them some fair share of the developmental project in Akwatia.
Okay, I see as well that it is giving an idea to the overall election coming 2020. Is it casting a shadow at all?
It is really casting a shadow for the overall election, telling you that some changes are yet to happen in Akwatia. If you look at Asumedu before the election, the pre-election season for the NDC were having 3 candidates. So they went in to pick one candidate to lead them. Before then, we went there, and Asumedu was leading the polls. As it stands now, minds have changed because they see that NDC is certain and they're coming with one person. Okay. So they all have to rally behind him. And again, it tells us that in 2028, things can change in Akwatia.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I think you have brought some clarity to that poll that you have conducted. Thank you for joining us. Now, meanwhile, the NPP says the results from the poll is far from reality. Jeff Kenedo is the NPP Eastern Regional Chairman. We'll bring you that a bit later in the bulletin. But still on elections, now 12 contenders in the Tamale Central constituency race have successfully submitted their nomination forms and have been cleared by the party. They are now set to face vetting on Sunday. A total of 14 aspirants initially picked forms when nominations opened on August 18, 2025. However, two National Vice Chairman Rav Khalid and Alhaji Ibrahim Saidu later withdrew from the contest, citing personal reasons.
One after the other, they arrived at the regional party office to be taken through the process. First to arrive was Dr. Saidu Fita. Then came the representative of former mayor of the Tamale Metro Assembly, Abdulhanan Gundado. Then representative of Shamima Yakubu, regional treasurer, arrived. Minutes later, senior lecturer at the Tamale Technical University, Professor Abdulrazak Abubakari, arrived. Then deputy treasurer, Tamale Central, Osman Al-Hassan's turn. The rest followed in this order: Aliu Abdul Hamid, Alhaji Al-Hassan Bamba, Mariam Manama Salifu, Dr. Abdul Rahman Abdul Rashid, Sadat Haruna Al-Hassan, Hajia Mulaika Salisu, and Professor Saidu Muhammad Alidu. Some of them spoke to the media.
What I'm bringing is to curb drug abuse. There's a lot of drug abuse and abuse in Tamale Central. It's one of my major projects. And then vocational skills, education, and then women organizations and what they call microfinance and all that.
Contested for Parliament in 2019. So this is not something new to me. And so before even coming here, I assessed myself and I confidently can say I am qualified. In fact, before today, the regional secretary of the party sat on radio station openly and mentioned that Dr. Sedifta is overly qualified because he knows me. I have worked for the party. I have put my life on the line for the party.
Gracefully, everything here we've not encountered any challenge. But we took the opportunity to seek of them to ensure a free and fair elections at the end of the day. And that they have given us assurance. We made mention to them that we do not want a situation where on the day of elections we have people from different places coming into this elections environment. So now we can see everything is okay.
To make sure that I create platform where a forum where unemployed youth can reach out to the office, so we'll try and make them to work where work is available within Ghana. And I've also established link with some colleges in Germany, which are looking for exchange programs where youth that are interested in learning vocational skills, carpentry, masonry, and then electricals can go on exchange program to Germany. I have a friend working in one of the colleges there.
Addressing the media, Regional Deputy Secretary Saka Ziblin said the process went through successfully.
At the close of today, we have 12 people who have filed their nominations to contest for the seat of the Tamale Central constituency. In fact, 14 had picked earlier on, but 2 had withdrawn. So currently we are having 12 aspirants, 3 ladies, then the men are 11, right? Yes, 11. 9. For now, 9, yes. So
he also outlined security measures put in place for the rest of the process.
We have the vetting at the Regional Coordinating Council. Before you enter, you need to provide a security, an ID card. And if you are not if you're not giving any permit, you cannot enter there. So we're going to give them at least all the members, 5 members, to accompany them to the vetting ground. 5, that's the minimum. So if you come, you don't have accreditation, you can't enter the Regional Coordinating Council. So that it will be very civil, everything will go through successfully. And apart from that too, we've also applied to Ghana Police, we've applied to the military as well, and all of them are going to provide security on the 6th of September at the Adu Boahen Sports Stadium. And we can assure you that everything is under control. So the delegate will be given accreditation. If you're not a delegate, you will not be allowed to enter the premises. You can only sit at the...
Let's turn our attention to Ghana's opioid crisis that's deepening, with alarming figures from the Youth Minister, George Opariado, who has revealed that nearly 59% of tertiary students are using opioids, while 12% are abusing cocaine and 11% heroin. Public health researcher Dr. Kwame Esedusapon is warning that dangerous street drugs like Winning Red, a combination of tapentol and another substance, are spreading, especially in mining communities. And for law enforcement, the fight is made even harder. Chief Superintendent Dr. Bright Nuru-Penin of the Ghana Police Service says making drug possession a bailable offense continues to frustrate efforts against powerful syndicates. Sayram Abla de Souza has put together this report from the JoyNews National Dialogue, Ghana's opioid crisis.
Alarming figures from Ghana's tertiary institutions are shining a light on the country's deepening opioid crisis. Minister of Youth Development and Employment, George Opariado, says 59% of students are using opioids, with 12% abusing cocaine and 11% abusing heroin, warning that this is no longer just a government fight, but a national battle.
59% of our respondents in the tertiary institutions are on one, they call it weed edibles, 59%.
Weed edibles? 15, more than half of them.
More than half. And then the scary part is the shisha and hookah. And ordinary shisha should not have been here. But I understand now they mix some substance with the shisha and hookahs that are in our various drinking spots and bars. That is 49%.
From government to regulatory, law enforcement and health experts, the urgency of the crisis is being echoed. The Food and Drugs Authority says opioids have legitimate medical use, but stresses that diversion into abuse is the real danger.
Traditionally, in the clinical setting, when clinicians prescribe these opioids for you, it is given to you for a period, for a condition. No clinician, because of the psychoactive nature of the products, will put you on opioids on long-term basis. It is normally on short-term, except for exceptional circumstances.
For the police, weak laws make the fight even harder. Chief Superintendent Dr. Nuru-Penin says bailable possession frustrates enforcement and gives transnational syndicates room to operate.
With certain cases, with certain situations, we don't want to be seen as heavy-handed. We want the society to recognize that, yes, we always say police is your friend. So in the management of these things, we don't want a situation where we come in hard and heavy. We have seen in the past that these have not necessarily helped because it just makes people go very much underground. So we have to take into consideration the human rights of people. So I wouldn't say the bail situation would significantly change what is happening. But definitely, as I said, the collaborative aspect would go a long way.
Health experts warn the dangers go far beyond policing. Dr. Eugene Dodoi of the Mental Health Authority explains that prolonged use of opioids alters the brain and abrupt withdrawal can even be deadly.
Unfortunately, very unfortunately, the mind is saying that if you take drugs of abuse, tomorrow it will demand more. Because what you took today will not give you the same high tomorrow. So with time, you need more. And when you start using it for a long time, that's what we call tolerance. When you start using it for a long time, you can't stop. When you stop, you fall sick. What we call withdrawal syndrome. And that for opioid can kill you. If you stop at once, yes, that can kill you.
For the Narcotics Control Authority, prevention must walk hand in hand with treatment. Kamal Dean Awudu insists schools and families must be at the heart of Ghana's response.
Remember, community mobilization and participation is very, very important when it comes to, substance abuse interventions. And recently, I did that with a community called Sabonzongo, a community just close to Abusukai. And I did that with the the police, visibility units, and then other stakeholders. And these communities, the community themselves did a research, identified the malleable risk factors in the community, and then they presented the findings to us. So based on that, it made it very, very easy for us to proffer mechanisms to be able to do it.
Researchers warn that Ghana missed a crucial window to act. Dr. Kwame Esiedusapon says the crisis is worsening in mining areas with substances like Wunim Red spreading fast.
The irony is it is more used in the Galamsey centers. And I asked you to check with my friend and your colleague Rastus, and you got confirmation that that was what was happening.
From government campaign and regulatory vigilance to treatment and rehabilitation, the JoyNews National Dialogue makes one thing clear. Ghana's opioid crisis demands a united response because behind the statistics are human lives. For JoyNews, Seyram Abla de Souza.
Now I'm joined by Mr. Faikob Parima, social psychologist and substance use researcher at the Central University and also National Executive of Ghana Psychological Association. Thank you for joining us on the news this afternoon. Now, as a substance abuse researcher, are you surprised by this revelation, especially the numbers? Kindly unmute if you can hear me. We'll try and reconnect with Mr. Faikob again and try and understand from his experiences whether he's quite surprised at the data that we have just been showing you in the dialogue that just happened yesterday and bringing it back to you today. Mr. Faikob, can you hear me? Kindly unmute. If you can hear me, kindly unmute so we can hear what you're saying. Well, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Faikob as well to understand, especially with his specialty and the amount of work that he has done in terms of research, are the numbers. 59% of tertiary students abusing such substances, 12% of them are abusing cocaine, and as well, some as well, shisha and all other substances, whether we can get his understanding and whether the numbers are surprising. But earlier, we brought to you how the challenge of law enforcement and the fight is being made even harder, as Chief Superintendent Dr. Bridget Nuru-Penyin has been telling us how the police rather should be seen as their friend and rather would not want to go heavy-handed. We'll try and reconnect with Mr. Faikob again to see if we can get his contribution. Mr. Faikob, can you hear me? We'll try again. If you can hear me, thank you again for trying to reconnect with us. So as a substance abuse researcher, are you surprised by this revelation, especially the data, the numbers, number of tertiary students abusing such substances?
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. I think that when it comes to the figures, some other studies have also shown that there is that prevalence of the use of psychoactive drugs even in our tertiary institutions. But I think that even if it is a person that uses drugs or psychoactive drugs, there is always a cause for concern, looking at the ripple effect of the use of drugs, because psychoactive drugs tend to actually affect the brain and how a person actually functions. Okay, so even if it is a person that is actually using some of these drugs, there is always a cause or a cause for concern, I should say.
What should authorities, including university authorities, do to address this canker?
Yes, I think that there should be a clear anti-drug policy on our campuses, okay, to be able to curb some of these things. And I know we already have security on campuses, but we need to really help to strengthen some of these structures to be able to control and then also check and reduce the inflow of illicit substances even within the campuses.
Right.
I think that when students report to campus, we need to always orient them regarding the use of drugs, the dangers of the use of some of these substances. Okay. Seminars can also be organized, especially on campuses. And we need to also strengthen our counseling and wellness centers on our campuses by getting psychologists who have the expertise when it comes to drug use to be able to help some of our youth even on our campuses. And also in terms of government, I think that there should be a collaborative effort in combating this menace. We have NGOs and then also other professional bodies that they can actually work with to be able to fight this, because the government can't do that alone. Organizations like the GPA, that is Ghana Psychological Association, of course, I think that we are doing some work underground to see how best psychological studies could be included in our curriculum in the secondary schools.
Okay, right.
Because I believe that they should be introduced to some of these issues right from the beginning, so that by the time they get to the tertiary level, they know the dangers of the use of some of these. I believe that even studies have shown that at the primary and then also secondary levels, they use drugs. So it's important that we start tackling some of these issues right from the basics, or basic level. And then our parents should not shirk the responsibility of grooming their children to be morally upright, but they should make it an effort to be able to educate their own children and also serve as very good role models, because children tend to model behavior that we put out even within the family system. So it's important that family members or maybe parents try to set very good examples. And also, we know that financial stress and other stresses of life tend to push these students into the use of drugs. So we need to help deal with some of these stresses. If it is financial, let us try as parents to be able to cushion our children so that they don't really rely or resort to the use of drugs to be able to cope with some of these.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Fakwab, for sharing your thoughts on this very important crisis that is nearly looming in the country. Thank you. You're watching News Today. Please stay. There's more.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. The National Banking College has hinted of plans to introduce a program on Islamic banking from 2026. The principal of the college, Gloria Akwatia, made this disclosure at the annual general meeting of the college. She explained that the move adds to a number of reforms being undertaken by the National Banking College to build the country's banking workforce and improve the sector. Here's more.
In the year under review, the National Banking College made significant strides. The introduction of programs in fintech, ESGs, and digital transformation strengthened the capacity of bankers in addressing industry trends. For their financials, the college recorded a surplus of 10.1 million cedis, up from 8.8 million cedis in 2023. This growth was driven by a remarkable 50% increase in internally generated funds, which reached 8.6 million cedis by the end of 2024. Principal of the college, Gloria Darling-Corte, attributed this achievement to deliberate institutional reforms.
The National Banking College, as you have seen, in the past 3 or 4 years, has consistently improved on its operations and its delivery, delivering better on its mandate and carrying the banks along. As you can see from today's attendance, we have almost every single bank here representing their institutions and participating actively in what we did. And so we are very proud of where we are, and we acknowledge also that there is room for us to keep growing, and that is what we undertake to do.
The college also pointed to strategic partnerships with local and international stakeholders, reaffirming its commitments to being the center of excellence in banking and financial services training. Madam Gloria Corte was optimistic that the introduction of a program in Islamic banking will align with the central bank's vision and deepen financial inclusion.
It is one of the areas that the central bank is actually looking at. And so we won't wait for it to start in full before we begin looking in that direction. And so yes, we are looking at Islamic banking. We are doing our research and putting our works together, and hopefully from next year we will begin to bring that knowledge also to our banks, because as you know, most of our banks, in fact all our banks, nobody is into Islamic banking at this point in time. And so we are just moving in tandem with the vision of the governor of the central bank, and that's exactly what we are doing. So we intend to move into that space in terms of training.
Looking ahead, the National Banking College plans to leverage emerging technologies and strategic collaborations in the short to medium term to build an exceptional future-ready banking workforce.
In another development, the Bank of Ghana has directed mining firms to now channel all their dollar inflows to commercial banks. This marks a reversal of the initial directive, where the firms were supposed to give all the inflows to the Bank of Ghana. The move is part of measures to improve dollar support for the market, in addition to what the central bank offers. Dr. Johnson Isiama is the governor of the Bank of Ghana.
And all these is meant to help, improve interbank trading, in foreign FX. That way they are able to support imports and other flows without necessarily, waiting for the central bank to come in with some support. So it is all expected. It is based on what has happened, the sharp appreciation and the fallouts. Remember, some other people, certain actors also, like you look at the black markets, what we call the black market. Certain things are going on there, but we are having a good look at them. We are taking certain measures. We are taking advantage of the situation to fix the foreign exchange market. One of the things I can tell you is that we've discovered quite a number of leakages, in the FX markets.
That's all for business. Up next is Showbiz.